Hello and welcome to the MAC weather page for this what should be a pretty wet day, especially for the afternoon and the evening hours, Wednesday, August 24th. And again, the headlines for the day is going to be rain and storms today with highs in the upper 70s to low 80s, upper 70s if the rain moves in quickly. And we'll see temperatures tomorrow in the low to mid 80s with scattered storms. Overall, we expect about a half to three-quarters of an inch of precipitation with some local amounts over an inch. But for tomorrow, we're going to watch a frontal boundary that's going to, I believe, lay out a band of heavy rain. In some areas, right now, it looks like from around Grand Rapids or towards the Marlette, Brown City, Sandusky area, those areas could see between 1 to 2 inches. It'll be about a 40-mile wide van, I think, that's going to set up with some training storms. And again, some of those areas in the central and south central lower Michigan area could see 1 to 2 inches of rain. But again, for the most part, it looks like a half to three-quarters of an inch for most of the MAC and LAC areas. If we look at the normals for the day, our normal high is 79, the normal low is 56. 1 year ago today, we had a high of 68 and a low of 55 with no precipitation, but we did have a peak wind gust of 24 miles an hour with a dominant wind direction through the day from the west. If we look at the conditions around the area yesterday, you can see highs right around that 80-degree mark and no precipitation with lows in the mid to upper 50s, making for a pretty comfortable sleeping weather. And we look at the conditions this morning, a little bit more warm out there this morning with temperatures in the low 60s and more in the way of humidity and higher dew points. And again, as that rain moves in, again, we see some pretty good totals throughout the day into tomorrow, and that'll increase this already pretty wet August that we've got going on. So we'll see more in the way of higher percentage rates through the growing season. And if we look at the soil conditions out there this morning, our station's now up, but it only reports about once an hour on the soil conditions. But again, all areas are seeing very moist conditions at pretty much all the levels with temperatures in the mid 60s to low 70s at the 2, 8, and 16-inch levels. If we look at the surface wind map this morning, you can see lots of southerly moisture moving up from the Gulf and converging along this front, and you can see how that's going to be squeezing out a lot of precipitation. And again, wherever there's a little bit of a twist in there, that's where we could end up seeing some marginally strong to severe storms here later this afternoon into the evening hour, especially as this low moves up that front, the front moves east, and we see a little bit of churning with height. And again, we could see some stronger storms. And on the satellite, you can see some of the colder cloud tops, and generally on the southwest flank of these is usually where you have the best chance of seeing severe storms. And you can see there's quite a few MCX complexes that have developed overnight. And these will weaken in the morning, but should intensify again later this afternoon. And you can see on radar the two main areas from those MCS complexes moving to the east. And again, we'll see some leftover showers and thunder showers this morning with that. And then I think we'll see new development this afternoon into tonight. And again, some of the rain could be fairly substantial here over the next 24 to 36 hours. If we look at the forecast map this morning, you can see low pressure moving off to the northeast. And again, that's going to drag a cold front and new low developing on that front. Other waves is going to bring a batch of pretty heavy rain just to the northeast of it. And as we move into tomorrow, not showing that, but I wouldn't be surprised to see the WPC put out some sort of a heavier kind of a flash flood guidance across parts of the upper Ohio Valley into the southern Great Lakes. So we'll see what the afternoon models show. And if we look at that forecast map by Friday, the cold front now well off to the east. We'll have a series of fronts dropping down, and we'll have nice weather for Friday and most of Saturday before our next chance of rain moves in late Saturday, but especially for Sunday as we see another frontal system drop into the area. As far as the severe weather potential, you can see the marginal risk. A couple of days ago, we talked about how we thought maybe that marginal risk might slide up into lower Michigan. Indeed, it has. But again, this doesn't look like quite the setup it did with that previous system we had over the weekend. But again, some storms could be on the strong side. And then for the day, too, we'll see some of that marginal risk down across areas around I-94 and south with the potential of some marginally severe weather as well. As far as precipitation, here's the GFS 72-hour. Again, remember yesterday I talked about all three models showing basically a quarter of an inch of precipitation with maybe some areas around a half inch. The GFS, for the most part, is that way, although it does show a heavier band. But again, it opens up that wave, I think, a little bit too quickly. And now we got support, however, from the, if we can go to the next slide here, you can see the European actually has this area here between 1 to 2 inches. Someplace, I think, between mid-Michigan and south central lower Michigan, we're going to see a pretty good band of heavy rainfall set up, and that'll be for especially for tomorrow. You can see the Canadian now supports that band streaking up into the area, as well as the European. So 2 of the 3 main models now showing a heavier band of precipitation moving into the area. And as that's the case, you can see the WPC has also bumped up their forecasted precipitation across much of the area, with many areas forecasted over the next couple of days potentially seeing around an inch or better of precipitation. As far as the extended outlook, again, with that Bermuda high building in strong, we have really a good chance of above to much above normal temperatures across the eastern U.S. If it wasn't for all the moisture that we've had and some of the moisture we expect over the next 5-6 days, I would say we'd have another chance of running towards 90 degrees, and that still is a possibility as we get into the second half of next week. But certainly plenty of 80-degree temperatures, so lots of nice summer weather coming up next week if you can avoid the raindrops. And again, you can see above normal precipitation during that period as well, as again we have some warm, juicy air coming up from the Gulf, meeting these northern stream systems and putting out quite a bit of precipitation across the northern states. And the 8 to 14 day out is also very similar, warm and wet. Thanks for stopping by and have a great day, and 73s to all.